Good morning. Today is Friday. I had yesterday off. I got my Pennsylvania driver's license. I am official now in Pennsylvania, and I got a bunch of stuff done. A whole lot. I have everything, all my ducks are in a row, and I can kind of hardly believe it. But before we get started, please like and subscribe. Please share my channel. Please comment whether you agree with me or not. And let's just get started. Today I wanted to talk about, kind of goes along with my day off yesterday and everything that I did. First of all, I want you to notice behind me these trees, if you can see them. Fall is out. We are in full fall. It's the end of October, and if you can see these trees behind me, oh my gosh. Bright red and yellow and orange everywhere. I am in complete heaven right now. This is one of the reasons I moved to the city, just to be able to walk through this park and see all this. But anyway, the subject today has to do with our limitations and what power we place on our limitations, physical limitations. We all have limitations of some sort, whether they're emotional, mental, physical, spiritual. We always have something that we feel is holding us back, or most of us, feel like something is holding us back from being everything we can be. And I wanted to talk about that today because I was on the phone with a lady the other day in my job. I was talking with her. We were talking about her shower and bath. I'm in home interior, and she was telling me that she needed a walk-in shower, which is what we do. We provide that for people, especially people who need them for safety. And she was telling me all about the reasons that she needed a shower. She had fallen in the bath, which that's very common. A lot of people fall in their bathtub when they get older. She had disabilities, and I really felt for her. I felt a lot of compassion for her, and quite frankly, I related to her because I have disabilities as well, and half the things she was listing that she has are things that I've been diagnosed with. Now, my diagnoses have changed over the years, but she told me that she has MS. She told me that she has spinal issues. She has arthritis in her spine. Like, she listed all these things that I've had, and with this lady, it sounds like she had completely given in to these things, all these things that were causing her pain. She accepted the diagnosis for every one of them. She identified as somebody who was sick and not able to move properly. She identified as that person, and she was in the process of rearranging her home to accommodate all these things. So, that was me probably 6 or 7 years ago. Doctors told me why my back hurt. Doctors told me why I couldn't move my legs. Doctors did MRIs and all kinds of tests, and they shared with me their findings, their diagnosis. And their diagnosis said to me, you will never be able to walk properly. You will someday be in a wheelchair. You're going to have to learn to live with this. This is the way it is. Get used to the new you. That you that doesn't have any balance and can't walk properly and can't feel your legs, that's you now. That's who you are. And so just accept it. Take all our medications and get on with your life. So that's what I was told. More than 10 years ago, I was told that, almost 11 years ago now, that I just had to adjust to my new body. And, I'm a stubborn one. I'm very strong-willed. I don't accept things that easily, especially when they're negative. So my response to that was what my response is every time I'm labeled with something physically. No, that's not me. That might be my situation right now, but that's not me. I don't have this and I don't have that, and this isn't going to be for the rest of my life. This is just what I called it was a learning tool. I said this is a tool and it's here for me to learn something. And at the time, 10 years ago, I had no idea what I was supposed to learn. I do now. It all falls together with my whole concept of, changing your thoughts, your beliefs, and things will change for you. And some people say, well, yeah, you got yourself well because you persevered in researching these things, and you took the right supplements and you did the right exercises. And yes, physically I did those things, but I believe that mentally and emotionally and spiritually, what drove me to find healing was my refusal to believe that I was sick. Now, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, offend anybody, I don't want anybody to step on anybody's toes or make you feel horrible about yourself. That's not the purpose of this channel. I did mention in a few videos back that when Jesus told somebody to get up and walk, he didn't mess around. He didn't sit there and say, oh, I don't want to offend you. I see that you've been disabled all your life and I don't want to offend you, but could you try to get up and walk? He didn't do that. He just looked at them and said, pick up your mat and walk. Just walk. Just do it. Like, you've had the ability. What he was really saying was, the world told you that you were born with, a defect or a disability. And I see that you're in a wheelchair. And I know that you've always been in a wheelchair. But what you have to understand is that's not you. You are not really that person in a wheelchair. You're a person who can walk. You just don't know it. So as soon as you know it and trust that that wheelchair doesn't belong to you, then that wheelchair won't be part of your life anymore. You'll change it. It'll just change. That's what Jesus said. So if Jesus said it, why shouldn't we say it? Get up and walk. You're not sick. And there are people who I know who have been in a wheelchair all their lives who would listen to this and say, how dare you? How dare you tell me that I can walk? Well, I'm not going to say that, oh, you don't have enough faith, or you just haven't tried hard enough, or, I'm not going to say that, because there are a lot of people out there who have been in a wheelchair all their life, have really, really, really prayed, tried, done everything, trusted God. I'm not going to tell people, who they should be or how they should be. There could possibly be people who, no matter what they do, this world is just designed that's where they're going to be. Maybe they really can walk and they don't know it, or maybe they're just not I wouldn't say supposed to, but they're just not going to in this lifetime. But they have a lifetime of things to learn. That maybe that thing is a lifelong tool. It's teaching them lessons for their lifetime. So I'm not going to say that every single person who's disabled needs to just start jumping for joy. But I do know that it's true that if there is something going on physically and it's been holding you back physically, and in your heart, and in your soul, and for a fact, some people just know that that wheelchair, they're going to be in that wheelchair and they've resigned to it. Some people, like me, I knew for a fact, an absolute fact, that whatever was going on with my legs was not supposed to be there forever. It was supposed to be there for a season. And I just knew that. I don't know how to explain it. It was just a knowledge that I had from day one when the whole thing started. I just had the knowledge that it's going to pass. It's not going to be there. And over time, I had doctors, first thing I did was I got off their medications because the medications were making me sick. And the neurologist said, well, don't take them anymore. So I didn't. And I felt better. Then I went to the next neurologist and said, I don't think I have MS. Can you do some tests and look and see if there's still scar tissue? Well, they did. And they couldn't find any scar tissue. Well, the first one found little tiny spots, but said they shrunk. She compared them and said, well, they've really shrunken. The second time I had an MRI, they came back and said, we don't see any scar tissue at all. So in order to have MS, you have to have scar tissue on your spine. Scar tissue in more than one place. And I had it, to begin with, I had scar tissue in 3 places. And I saw it on the MRI, it was there. But I never thought it was multiple sclerosis. I thought it was caused by stress. I thought my immune system probably ate parts of my myelin because I was really stressed out during that time. I was living in DV, and that's very stressful, and I was getting out of that, and that's really stressful. So that's when I went down. That's when those things happened. And I also had taken really strong antibiotics a couple years prior to that, which can also cause that. So, those things probably were what contributed to those scars on my spine, but the scars healed. Because I did not believe they were permanent. They tried to tell me they were going to be there forever. And I just said, no, they're not. And they aren't. And I'm not trying to say I'm some magical thinker that can make disability go away. But it's because I knew. It's because I knew. It wasn't just a belief. It wasn't just I hope. It wasn't just I'm going to get down on my knees and pray to God that these things go away. I just knew from the start. No, that's wrong. MS, no. I just never identified with it. And so, we have intuition. We are right about a lot of things that make no sense. And at the time, it made no sense. Everybody told me I was in denial. But the doctors told me I was in denial. Then, you need to get out of denial or you're not going to help yourself with these medications. My family members told me I was in denial. Like, you have to learn how to cope with this. And my response to that was, no, I'm not in denial. I know that this isn't me. I just never I never backed down from that. So those scar tissues are gone. I found out that I do have arthritis in my spine. I found out that I do have pinched nerves. I got to the bottom of what it really is, but I knew what it was. Now, do I have enough arthritis in my spine to put me in pain for the rest of my life? I do. The last doctor who read me my report said, you have 3 discs, 3 good discs, and all the rest of them are just mashed. That was the word she used, mashed discs. Like, they're all compressing nerves. They're all arthritic. I have bone spurs. I have, you name it. I don't even know what my spine looks like. I would love to be able to have them open me up and just snap pictures and show me what the darn thing looks like. MRIs can show you a little white, kind of image of what they look like, and x-rays show you an image, but I would love to see the inside of that. And just how bad it is, because the doctors are always like, how are you walking? How are you even moving? They don't understand it. But I can tell you this. With an arthritic spine, my way of looking at it is, I believe them. I believe that my spine has arthritis, and I believe that the discs are I can feel it. But my thought is, I don't care. I really don't care. And what I wanted to share was that yesterday when I went into the DMV, I was in the DMV for 4 solid hours. I didn't go early. I went at it wasn't noon. It was like 10 a.m. It wasn't that crowded, but oh my gosh, the snags. The last time I went in, I didn't have my birth certificate. This time I brought my birth certificate. I stopped at the front desk and he was just like, do you have this? Yes, this, yes, this, yes. Do you have that? Why do I need my divorce certificate? Because it shows your name. Like, nobody told me I needed my divorce certificate for the DMV. He almost sent me home. But then he said, well, do you have your passport? I said, yes. And he said, well, if you have your passport and your social security card, that's enough. Good. Jeez. I swear, sometimes at that front desk at the DMV, it's like their job to find some reason to send you home. But I made it. I made it through that. And then I got to the counter and everything was going swimmingly. I hate that word. I did my little eye test and I passed. I gave him all the paperwork and he shuffled through everything and did his thing, checked my application, making notes and check marks and highlighting things. And I'm staring at him like, gosh, please just issue my license. Please, please, please just issue my license. And he walked away for a second to do something on the printer and he came back and he sat down and he looked up and he said, I'm sorry, I can't issue your license today. And I was like, oh my. So apparently the state of Florida had suspended my license and they wouldn't release it. So I had to get on the phone. I had to call Geico. It was an insurance issue. The state of Florida suspended my license because I wasn't driving in Florida. I had gotten insurance in Pennsylvania so that I could get my license and registration in Pennsylvania. But I guess I jumped the gun and got insurance too soon because Florida caught that right away and suspended my license. You don't have insurance, no license. So I called Geico and I was on the phone for like an hour between calling Geico, having them change my insurance back to Florida. Oh my God. Calling the Florida Department of Transportation, having to let them know that I changed. It was an hour on the phone. But you know what? I sat there and I just said to myself, I am determined. I am determined. I'm going to walk out of here with my driver's license. And I did. Now, mind you, they're going to mail my license. They don't just hand you a license for some whatever unknown reason. They can't just print your license and give it to you after they take your picture here in Pennsylvania. No, they have to mail it to me in 2 weeks, but whatever. I got a little temporary piece of paper that says I have a driver's license. And I was just so, I'm looking for it right now. I was just so damn proud of myself for having that much patience. There, it's my little paper license. It took me 4 hours to get. Then I went on to get my registration, and that was another process, but that didn't take as long because I had all my paperwork and documentation. It was just a matter of sitting there, filling out the application, having them walk out to my car, look at the VIN number, go back in the building, sit for another 20 minutes, and I have my plate. So I am legal in Pennsylvania now, and I have my passport. So I've got everything taken care of. I went home, I just flopped down and I thought, most people can just do this and it doesn't, make them feel like they just got stabbed 200 times. But my back hurt so bad. And I was just like, I was standing for so long and I was just tired and I was stressed. And oh my gosh, I put ice on my back, I put heat on my back, and I'm like, this is just nuts. This is just crazy. Something as simple for most people is so hard for me to do. And I used to just cry over it and feel sorry for myself. And that time I just, you know what I did? I got up and I went for a walk. I went for a nice walk and I looked at the leaves. I went through the park. I came back. I felt better. I went to a Mexican restaurant, a different one than I usually go to. I tried out a different one and they had a store, which was really awesome. I mean, I had a day. I just made my day brighter. I just decided I would change my attitude and I wasn't going to sit there and feel like a disabled person. I wasn't going to sit there and cry because I was hurting because I had to go to the DMV. I was going to take what I had and make the best of the rest of my day off, which I did. And now I feel great. So some of it has to do with spirituality and creating things. Some of it has to do with psychology and changing our minds and just turning things around and believing that life is good. Life isn't bad. I may have pain, but the pain is here to teach me things. And I've learned so many things from this pain. I've learned human compassion. I've learned to reach out to other people. I've learned about healing. I've learned about spirituality. I've learned how to connect with you. I've learned how to, just be part of a community. And I've learned how to let people help me. I have people in my life who do help me, and I let them. I used to not let anybody help me. I've learned how to be there for other people and have other people be there for me. Just human connection is basically what this whole thing has taught me. Human connection. And all this that I talk about the love and the light, those are the things that this pain has taught me, to live in the love and the light. And you know, the pain doesn't always go away. I think someday it'll be gone. I think someday I won't have to live with this anymore. But even when it's there are times that I can just kind of leap over it and just live my life and kind of ignore it. And it's still there, but it's kind of there playing in the background. It's like background music as opposed to loud music that's in the front, you know. So if the pain's just in the background and I'm just out here living my life, that's a mentality change. My son told me that all these things that I talk about, the one, the all, the collective, and what we are, and matter, wave, they have come up to the point where they think that we're all frequency. They think that everything created is frequency, created from frequency and wave. But my son likes to tell me, you know, add biology to that, add psychology to that, add philosophy to that. And, you know, somebody told me I shouldn't listen to my son. Like, you're an adult. Don't listen to your son. Well, he's 31. And, you know, when he was a child, I would listen to him, but I wouldn't, like, believe everything he said because he was a child. There were some things he came up with good ideas, but I wasn't, like, taking all my advice from him when he was 10. But he's 31, and he's a very intelligent human being. And he's a biochemist and a computer full stack developer. So he's been through college for biochemistry, and then he went into to computer science. So I mean, he's smart, and I weigh out everything everybody says. I don't just oh, my son said that, so it's absolutely true, and I'm going to adopt that now. I mean, I always, no matter what anybody tells me, I weigh it all out. But he has good points. And when he told me to combine all those things, you know, the psychology of it, the biology, the philosophy, the, you know, everything, the chemistry that's in our brains, and everything goes together. It all goes together. It's not just spirituality. And I'm not trying to say that spirituality isn't maybe the glue that holds everything together. The spirituality is the part where maybe we can explore and see, you know, what everything is, but then everything is connected. We have atoms and cells, and we do have biology and chemistry and psychology. I really do love philosophy as well, which my dad was a philosopher, so he really introduced me to a lot of things. So anyway, I don't want to go on and on about it, but I do want to say that yes, I tackled the DMV, and yes, my back hurt, but I had a great day anyway. And I think that, you know, the idea of pick up your mat and walk, I think what it really comes down to is, I think some people will just get rid of I think it's possible that somebody can have a severe disability and just get up and walk and get rid of it. I also think it's possible that some people can live their lives with a disability. I think it's possible that some people can have it and then live it for a while, years or a decade or longer, and then have it subside. Maybe it'll subside slowly like mine did. My disability leaves me bit by bit, piece by piece. So they're all different kinds of ways to heal physically, and not everybody does heal physically. But I do think that if you truly believe in your heart and with the core of who you are, if you know who you are and that disability is not involved in that, if that's just a tool that's in the background there to teach you things, I do believe that those things can disappear over time. I'm living proof, and I wanted to share that for anybody who might be encouraged by that. Hope it's encouraging. But anyway, I just saw my boss go in, so I should probably get into the office and clock in. I hope you're all having a great day, and I will see you next time.